Hey everyone, Mike here today with some thoughts here on Hades. This is a run-based game. I have not completed a run yet, but per what I'm seeing and hearing in the game, I've gotten pretty close. Maybe. We'll see. The reason I'm not sure is because this game has a lot of content, a lot of replayability, and it's a phenomenal game. If you've not heard about it yet, it is absolutely incredible. I think there's a lot of things this game does which, anyone out there looking to do kind of a run-based game of sorts should really look into, because, yeah, a lot of little touches go a long way in this game. So as you see, I've done 20 runs. This is where you respawn once you die, and so we're gonna we're gonna walk around, talk to different people here in the house, and then we'll get ready for a potentially long run, potentially quick. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But yeah, the first thing you'll see is that all of these various characters kind of hanging around.
You watch yourself out there.
They all kind of have something to say. Actually, except for him, I guess. But yeah, usually most of the characters around, as long as they have an exclamation point, they all have something unique to say, which is kind of interesting. And the game goes kind of a long way with that too, and trying to make everything, unique every run. So you can see, the Cerberus here, I still have to talk to him 4 more times to be able to learn more about him for the flavor text. But of course I can only talk to him once, so anyways, there's some long-term projects here which I can't do any this time around. Just gonna take a quick peek in here, one here.
Orpheus, I saw Eurydice again. I couldn't bring myself.
So yeah, I'm seeing another character who apparently knows this guy, and we're kind of, I don't know. I'm being the middleman here, kind of exchanging messages between these two, and this has been interesting so far at the very least. So, but yeah, the game goes a really long way in not only having a lot of text, but everything is voiced as well. And so, examples of that is characters will react to stuff that you've done. All of you reach a certain point in a run. You've met a certain god so far. You've unlocked new stuff. They always tend to comment on that as well. And so, in my 20 runs, I don't believe I've had a duplicate line of dialogue yet, except maybe that Reaper guy over there. I think that's the first time I've had someone not necessarily say something unique, which is, 20 runs doesn't necessarily sound like a lot, but at the same time, it's really impressive what they've done. And it makes all of these characters feel alive and part of the world, right? The fact that they comment on your progression, they try and encourage you as well, or they comment on stuff that you've unlocked, so they kind of not necessarily tutorialize certain things, but they at least kind of talk about certain things. So hey, you got so and so, and might want to use this or take advantage of that. So I'm spending some of these gems here. I don't remember the exact term that they use for all these items, but yeah.
I have no more darkness.
I'm gonna spend a little bit of those resources, and then we've got a table here of
Something's added to the fated list.
kind of unlocks, I guess, or yeah, activities, if you will. If you do stuff, you can unlock certain things there. So here are at least the weapons I have so far. I don't have all the weapons yet. To potentially make this a short one, I just bought this not too long ago, so we'll see how this goes. This is my first time with this weapon, so I'll probably not last very long, which is good. For the sake of this video, I don't necessarily want to make it super far. So Ares here is the guy we're going to talk to. You can hit C at any time to bring up your codex and kind of see, oh, okay, I haven't given a gift yet, which means he has a gift for me. I can also talk to him 5 more times to learn more about him for the flavor text side of things. But anyways, we'll accept the boon.
The eternal spear. I thought it lost.
See, the first time I've used a spear. Comments on it, because, hey. So most of the gods as well will probably mention something like that, since it's one of the unique things they can bring up that makes everything so unique. So, yeah, there's different options here. We'll go with the rare one because, again, not knowing this weapon very much, it makes it a little tough for me to know what's good. So we got an updated codex entry. Great. So like some of the other weapons, I'll be unlocking more flavor text as I get more kills with it. So every run, you start with this really, really easy stage. You know, when you first start playing the game, that's kind of how you learn some of the mechanics, which is fine. And so you might think, well, okay, after 20 runs, this game starts getting kind of repetitive, right? Since you're doing the same beginning over and over. One of the interesting things that they've done is they've been introducing various new enemies as well. So they've been adding more and more variety in this early game, which is definitely interesting.
I'm rich.
There's also more things to do in the early game, and so as you progress through the levels quicker and quicker,
Where now?
It becomes a bit more important not to take damage, and
Time to fight.
generally it's not too hard to do a perfect run, at least with the early levels. Once you're kind of used to the weapons, of course. Me not being used to this weapon, and yeah, I'm still a little uneasy with some of the things. But the other nice thing too is, as you meet new gods and you have new abilities that get unlocked, well, they take advantage of that early game by saying, hey, you've just unlocked this god, why not have them immediately show up, right? That literally just happened last run or the run before. There's a new god, because I hit a certain distance in the game, another new god showed themselves. I got a boon off of them, and so I got to experience kind of a different set of abilities that I hadn't experienced before. And so just that little thing that they've done kept that early first batch of levels here that I'm doing kind of fresh and different. At the same time, there are different weapons in the game that you can unlock, and so now I'm at the point where I was feeling pretty comfortable with these early levels because they tend to be generally pretty easy. But now that I have a different weapon, I'm kind of happy that they have this sort of easy first stage, because it gives me that opportunity to face different enemies that I'm familiar with, that I've already faced many times before, with a new weapon and kind of building up a strategy. And so it makes me kind of more youthful, I guess, in that sense. Yeah, a lot of just smart design things, right? When you first start playing the game, they don't introduce too many different enemies. They don't introduce too much variety. That way you can get used to enemies. You get to learn a certain enemy's pattern, what strategies kind of work against them. And then the next thing they do is they introduce a new enemy after 1 or 2 or 3 runs. And so you start facing that guy alone, and then you face the guys you already knew how to face, plus that new enemy together. And they tend to do that pretty much every time, because turns out it's really handy and it works really well and not overwhelm the player. And so they take that a step further too. There's certain bosses which I've faced as kind of a mini boss, right? Instead of these guys, because these guys are a mini boss now, and then they turn out to be kind of a regular enemy later on in the run. But I've actually had a certain stage boss show up as a mini boss, and so it made it easier dealing with that person as a mini boss alone. Then when you get into the bigger boss fight at the end of the level, well, you get the little bonus perk of, hey, I've taken off some of his HP, so he's a little bit easier to deal with, but I also know his pattern. And so now I only have to concentrate on the other person I have to fight. This sounds really good.
Love and loss.
But yeah, I think the other nice thing is they've also not introduced too many gods at a time, and so that gives you plenty of time to learn exactly what the different abilities are, how they work, and gives you a chance to experiment with a lot of the stuff. And yeah, I'm surprised because there's a lot in this game. There's a lot of stuff, and yet there isn't a single point where I felt overwhelmed or I've had to sit there and like look at what are these two icons. I already know what they are. Right? There's either six or eight. Huh, there's 9 apparently. That's right. So there's 9 different gods. They all have a unique color. They all have a unique icon. They all have a pretty unique character as well associated to that person. And so it makes it really easy and recognizable to know not only which god, what's their icon, and I also know what their abilities are. I feel like with most games, I might have to look at a list and then try and memorize it. With this, it's just being really easy to remember who does what. So by choosing this one first, I'll anger the other god, and by rejecting her, she'll be a little aggressive as well in this fight,
She won't let this go.
which
Let's give her a show then.
maybe not the best thing because I find she's kind of a hard one to deal with. But we'll manage. This is early enough in the run that I'm not too worried about dealing with her. And of course she forgives me afterwards. So I still get a bit of help. So I could have gone the other way, depending which one I feel more comfortable dealing with. And well, let's go for the epic one. Take a quick look at this nice mid-stage store, mini store, whatever you want to call it. I
Should be useful.
don't think I need a heal. Oh, I only get a key. Great. Well, we'll go for key. Keys are also another permanent unlock. So that's kind of the overall structure of the levels is you'll get a choice, and often that choice is, do I need something that will help me for my run, or do I want to try and get some stuff to upgrade, permanent health upgrades and stuff like that. It's a decision you have to make. It works both ways. Some runs I might not start with necessarily something that I find pretty good, and so I'll quickly decide, oh well, at any given opportunity I'll go down the upgrade resource route, because permanent upgrades are great for future runs, because there's a lot of things that can help out. Yeah, this spear I'm still not used to using everything yet, but
Power of the gods.
I feel like I'm doing acceptably well for my first run with the spear.
I'll just have a look around.
Well, since we are about to face a boss,
Should help keep
may
me
as well
going.
spend that money and get that little bit extra health. So the gold coins don't last
I bet
to the
Rato's
end.
next.
So if you die in that run, you lose your
good.
gold coins. You also lose your boons, which are the upgrades that the gods give you. Everything else you keep, right? You
Please,
keep
I'm
the
not a
crystals
murderer. You
for
don't have to do this.
permanent structure, things that you can buy. You keep the gems, which are things to upgrade yourself. And yeah, some of the various resources bosses will give you when you defeat them. Wow, that was a waste. Okay. Alright. I'm saying I'm doing okay, I guess. Which, I've not died yet. If I don't lose a life, I might be fine. Jeez, I'm choking up a bit. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Yep. Alright, doing pretty good. I'm feeling relatively confident. This is pretty messy though, I am taking a lot of unnecessary damage. But at the same time, I know when I defeat her, I do get some of the health back, and so
She's a bit much.
ideally you don't want to lose
Taxed in blood.
that much health, but you know, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Not just be a moment, Father.
So yeah, one of the interesting things they also do to keep the game kind of fresh is, well, that boss, I used to only face one version. And so as I defeated the boss a couple times, they've introduced different variants, which it's really freshened up the combat overall. May as well buy everything. I'm not trying to save money for some of the high level stuff at the end because I don't expect to make it that far. Again, this is my very first run with the spear. I've never used it before. So
Now we're getting
I'm still getting used to it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I can't really think of too much else to add here. Of interesting stuff. I think what's nice about all the boons that they have is that they change up, like weapons themselves change up your playstyle quite a bit. And then they have all of these boons which and boons themselves add so much variety to the game. It's kind of ridiculous. Just how much variety you get off of the different boons and how you can tweak your playstyle to take advantage of them. Like I'm really impressed that there is that much difference with depending which routes you go down, and the way that
I'll be leaving
some of the various
shortly.
boons stack and the combos and stuff that you can pull out. It's really impressive what happens in this game. So yeah, I'm playing keyboard and mouse. I've played with controller as well. I think most people would probably say this is a controller game first. It's tough to say. Because with the controller, well, actually you could do it with the mouse too. You can set it between absolute position or relative. So if I move the mouse just up, it's like moving the analog stick up, right? There's the option for both. I kind of like clicking around on enemies. It's probably not ideal, but the game does actually have a bit of an auto aim built in to help you out. So especially if you have like some of the range stuff, it'll auto aim a bit, or you can turn it off if you don't like it. But yeah, for the mouse, it actually works out fine. I don't see a point in taking it off. But yeah, choice is yours. I've only had it actually be a slight issue a couple of times where I was trying to target one specific enemy and it'd be locking on another. So I'm just taking a quick look because there's parts of the level I didn't actually see. I'm just making sure that there's no extra little goodies lying around.
Which circle?
I don't have anything good to deal with these people. I'm just gonna take a ton of damage and so my weapon can break through some of that stuff. It's just because it's not a slash, it's kind of, well, yeah. I have to do the dash attack. There you go. That solves that problem. Again,
Farewell, ladies.
like I said before, this is my first run with this weapon, so I'm still getting used to what to use when.
How fascinating they survive down there.
I go straight for the fated choice, just to complete that list of stuff. Yeah, that's it for this one. Actually doing better than I expected. Only a couple? Yeah, I think we're only a couple levels away from big boss time. Yep, you can stun lock enemies sometimes. There's backstab. That was stupid. There's backstab bonuses as well. So some weapons or some boons, it actually works both ways. I'm playing sloppy now. Yeah, some weapons, some boons actually can give you knockback, and so there are bonuses to knockback in this game. So you can slam enemies into walls, or I could slam them into the fire there, which can be useful.
Need to press on.
There's little obstacles, not obstacles, but yeah, you can crash some of these towers as well.
Just what I need, except
Ooh. That wouldn't be too bad.
worth it.
I'm going for the upgrades anyways. Yeah, I don't care about that. Can meet a special person, I guess. Oh, this is great. So, yeah,
Hey, you.
the guy we're talking to before
Hey there,
this
Harry.
run.
So what do you think? Pretty good tune, right? Don't know how come everybody doesn't sing. Lightens the mood, passes the time. What's not to like?
Huh.
It's a beautiful song. Even though you're angry with him, Orpheus, I mean, you're always singing.
This is, yeah,
Oh, it's not
this is an
Orpheus'
interesting
song, you
story
kidding me?
because
This one's all mine.
back at the
He always
house,
did like going on about how I
Orpheus
really
is
well.
another guy we're
That's 'cause I
talking
wrote all
to,
the
and
songs for him.
now they're kind of
Yeah,
going back and
tonight.
forward between these two characters, and This is a storyline that's developing because
Well, not exactly in those
I
words.
keep bouncing between the two.
Orpheus can be a little hard to pass.
He can be a little hard to tolerate. A quality I hope isn't going to rub off on any of his mates.
Cool. And then of course she gives me a nice little upgrade here, or a choice of upgrades that I want. Since I don't think I'll be doing much better, let's go for the
You got
rarity.
it, hun.
And
That's good.
21% damage reduction is pretty good. Nope. Let's not walk on lava.
Take care.
Bye.
Alrighty.
Pleasure doing business.
And here we go. I'll show off a second boss fight. I think this is where I'm gonna die.
I wouldn't mess with me if I were you.
Oh, especially if this one. So I could... Whoops. So there are ways to tell which variant they are based on color. Which, you know, strangely enough matches kind of what they're going to be doing. So orange Hydra matches the orange magma color. There's also a purple one, which matches the purple kind of magic attacks that he'll throw out as opposed to magma. And then there's a green one, which matches spawning little enemies. If that makes any sense. Let's not stand on fire. He's about to get Rufius. Let's back off. So you can kind of see what happens when I've been fighting these guys often enough. And as expected, I was gonna probably take some damage there. Jeez. The lava below where I'm standing sucks. Especially since that's like the ideal spot. Hey, what is this? I've never used her ability. Yep, that was me being dumb.
Last shot.
Easy. Not really easy, but I took on a lot of damage.
You reconstitute again.
Uh,
Oh, for me.
Also, it's kind of hard concentrating on the talking and the playing at the same time. I'll blame it on that. No, in all
Surprised
seriousness,
my
like,
Hydra.
I sure did, Father.
this is an amazing game.
Damn it, can't get that.
It's that's a pretty decent one. Yeah, we've got a bunch of upgrades. I think we looked at that at the beginning. This is becoming a really long video, so
Onward then.
it's going to be
Thank you.
real nice and painful uploading this. A little bit like the Age of Vampires video there I did. Or I did it
The dead must have it pretty good.
a couple
up here.
days ago, but you guys are probably going to see this a month or two later. Just because I do like having a couple of videos queued up. So that way when I play some of the really long games, that might take me a while to complete. Well, having a queue of videos like that gives me a little bit of a buffer. So yeah, the tough thing about these enemies, you might not notice it yet, but they do spawn in a They do spawn in a little floaty eye thing there. And so if I don't deal with that floaty eye, oh, that's big damage. That floaty eye will respawn. So it's kind of a case of, well, you kind of have to prioritize. Yeah, that was dumb on my part. Alright, another god.
My elder brother, you know that. Not exactly the expressive type, but never was. We seldomly saw eye to eye on things.
Again? Never said that before, so... Alright, so I have a choice here. I could replace an existing... Oh, boy. Yeah, I think the replacing here is better. Or I can just get another one. The nice thing about replacing is it's always going to replace a tier higher. So this is why it's an epic, because it's going to replace the rare. Therefore, this automatically has to be an epic.
Lord Ares won't mind.
So now I have a different right-click ability. So we'll just... You know what, we'll go as far as I can. I'm not gonna try and... So I might just die to kind of get back to the house so you can see what it looks like, but I think that's gonna happen fairly soon anyways. So why not try and go as far as we can? So those traps can hurt me, and so that's why you just do that. You know, I'll try and dodge out of them. But I think the nice thing is that it also hurts enemies, and so take advantage of that. Oops. Ah, come on, I'm getting super sloppy now. Triple jab. Huh. Oh yeah, all of these will be new because I've never really gotten upgrades. Oh wow, that's that's real good. Wait, so how does that work? Okay, so the normal attacks, or the charge one's unchanged. Thankfully, a little eye can't actually hurt me. Yeah, and this is where we die. Yep. Called it. I saw that attack starting to come out, and I dodged into it.
Alright. Again?
Alrighty. So that's a real long run of Hades. Looking at my phone, yeah, this is a half an hour run. So, kind of show you.
Back again.
Yeah, you'll see some of the people have changed. Some various folks have different things to say, so let's walk around, do a little bit of extra chatting here as I prepare to wrap this up. It's a truly incredible game. I think they made sure they had a fundamentally great playing game first before they did too much. You know, everything about the controls, the snap responsiveness, the snappiness, like everything about this is just, it feels good to play. Everything just feels pretty well balanced. I don't really have any specific complaints about the game overall.
Say, how do you get
So, you know,
back?
they have a fundamentally
Everyone
good
given
game.
you a lift.
Then the art style, I think, looks great. It's very bright, colorful, as with all the Supergiant games. You know, it's got its own look and style. And then they pile on top of that all the dialogue, all the voice acting stuff, and the fact that there's so many unique lines, and you know they're pretty good about
Just kidding, boy.
putting out stuff that kind of responds to what you've been
Father,
doing, at
a
least with
legend
your
book
last
named Lord
run.
Eurydice. You know her name, I think. Is it really true what happened between her and Orpheus?
Again,
They
this
say you
is
almost let her
this.
out, so why
Hey,
not me?
this entire run, this is the third time we've got this storyline happening too, which is interesting.
Orpheus is a talented musician and a fool. I knew he would never get his beloved wife out of here. There's no escape for her or anyone, including you.
So you tricked him,
Okay.
or maybe offered him a deal in bad faith. No matter. What's it going to take to waive the separation order between them?
I'm trying to think of what else there is.
That's non-negotiable, boy. Waiving a separation order. That's a veritable fortune in dues alone. Off the table. Now go mind your own affairs and leave the waving and the ordering to me.
Interesting. That'll be cool to see what's gonna happen next. Now, do I buy that now, or do I wait for something else? I'll have to spend a bit of time in looking at those upgrades in my own time, just so I can figure out what's worth upgrading.
Thanks for talking to me, Prince.
Take care,
Okay.
Dusa.
She had nothing to say. And yeah, there you go. That's kind of how it goes. Of course, I was trying to get some of the gems here to run some more upgrades. And I may as well max all of these out. I think that's actually the logical way to go about it. And so,
The power of darkness.
yeah, that's Hades in a nutshell, I suppose. Half an hour video, a little bit longer. It's a great game. I've had a lot of fun with it. I can't wait to, you know, I'm a couple rounds away of being able to really get things going, I guess, in a sense. Yeah, I'm still unlocking a bunch of stuff. I've gone pretty close to what I think is the end. I've done reasonably well. It's just I'm spending a lot of time focusing on just upgrading stuff and unlocking stuff right now, as opposed to actually doing well. But I've been getting further and further, even though I'm not necessarily trying to do good decisions as to what I upgrade and what I do. But
Keepsakes hold power.
yeah, I think I'll wrap it up there. You know what? Probably not the best thing to run if I'm running a melee style weapon, but hey, you know, as his keepsake I was running, I still get to level it up anyways. So yeah, we'll wrap this up here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, as usual. I'll see you guys next week with presumably some other game. Until then, yeah, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.